as myself has more and more experiences of life, I've begun to realize that I cannot control someone else. I have begun to realize that it's best that I try to control myself. Is it easy? Not at all. To control your mind is perhaps one of the most difficult things to do. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is written that it is easier to control all the winds than it is to control your own mind.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to podcast number 3 with Dr. Sabharwal and Vrind podcast with VMV. So welcome, Dr. Sabharwal.
Thank you, Vrind. Welcome to you as well.
Thank you so much. Listen, we always we think about topics. We got so many podcasts lined up. Today, I want to throw a curveball at you. I want to throw a very fun, very life-based podcast. So what do you think today's topic is going to be?
I'm waiting to hear from you.
All right. So very vague, very generic, and very deep at the same time.
Okay.
Making people happy.
Oh.
So today's podcast, guys, making people happy. What does that mean to you? When I say this, what does that mean to you?
Making people happy to me seems that you're going to go out of your way, out of your comfort zone, just to ensure that someone else has a particular feeling that you cannot really control.
You nailed it right on the head. So it's all about expectations. So meeting people's expectations, meeting certain criterias, not for your work, not for something you've done for yourself or something that's going to help grow you, but for the environment around you, the people around you. And I want to ask you, how feasible do you think that is?
I am a firm believer,
Yes.
that one's actions
Yes.
cannot and should not make another person feel happy or sad or any particular way.
Right.
One's mental state of mind, whether it be happy, sad, worried, stressed, so on and so forth, is that particular individual's reactions
Yes.
to external events which are out of their control.
Yes.
The only thing that one has in their control is their own mindset, their own actions. You cannot let the external environment force you into feeling a particular way.
Okay.
The way you feel is your choice.
Now, okay, it's for me to further elaborate that. You go to somebody's house. You have a girlfriend. You have a boyfriend. Mother, father. I'm talking about all related. This is right across the board. So you walk into a particular situation and you're all it's like you're always walking on some sort of nails or pins, trying to satisfy somebody else's pride, ego, whatever it may be. And that's what I'm really coming down to here. How do you satisfy an other individual when you're not fully satisfying yourself within that particular situation?
When you're sad
Yes.
and you don't feel good,
Yes.
can you make someone else feel great at that time?
Not at all.
So then, can you control how someone else feels?
Well, not 1% chance.
So then why don't you start controlling what you can yourself?
And I think, but my thing is people don't think this way. People are always if I do this, they're going to think that. But if you don't do it, they're still going to think something else. There's always going to be some sort of opinion or judgment passed on whatever you do. So why do people work so hard is what I was trying to get to at the bottom of this, is why do people work so hard trying to please people? Because ultimately anything you do, good or bad, negative or positive, you're not going to be able to satisfy a group of people in a certain room. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. So why do people try to work so hard to please people?
Because we're mentally conditioned to do so. It's simple. We're mentally conditioned, and in our mind, we believe that we could control things which are outside of our control.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I do, at times, many times, say and do things in a expectation with a desire that another party will feel good, will feel elevated, will feel motivated.
Okay.
Yes, some of my actions, my words are to gain that outcome.
Right.
At times, I'm not proud of this. At times, some of my words and actions are so I could elicit another response, to get someone angry, to get someone upset, to make someone think. However, as time goes on, as myself has more and more experiences of life, I've begun to realize that I cannot control someone else. I have begun to realize that it's best that I try to control myself. Is it easy? Not at all. To control your mind is perhaps one of the most difficult things to do. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is written that it is easier to control all the winds, all the directions of wind in this entire planet than it is to control your own mind.
Right.
But that is what our goal should be, because if we can control ourselves, then we could be the pinnacle which can represent the happiness, the gratitude that we wish to see in others.
Okay. I think you nailed this. You nailed this point where if the change is within us, then you can reflect that change on somebody else. But if we're not willing to change ourselves, but again, coming back to the basis, why do we try to impress people? Conditioning, because we believe that if we can make someone laugh, if we can make someone feel good, that in their eyes we have elevated ourselves. So, but why do we always need to look good though? That's like, if we, it's, I personally think this, like I feel like we're so conditioned, as you're saying, to always make other people happy that we forget our own happiness. And that's where, so they pick your own poison. That's what bothers me, because we'll go into a room, we're trying to satisfy people, but we forget our own satisfaction. And I think you need to satisfy yourself before you can satisfy anybody. You need to feel good about yourself before you can feel good about anybody. And I think that's where, not only today, but it's been going on for generations. And I think that's, we spoke about mental health, our last podcast, and I think this is the epitome of it all.
This is part of it. The consistent struggle to make yourself a person you're not. It's a problem. It's a big problem. The consistent struggle to make someone else happy while you're miserable, that's a problem. That's a big problem. There was an Iranian or a philosopher, I believe he was Iranian, Rumi.
Right.
And I read that he once said that when I was young, I tried to change the world.
Yes.
But now that I'm wiser, I'm trying to change myself.
Wow. That's deep.
Right? You have to start by trying to change yourself, by trying to bring that positivity within yourself and being yourself. What's wrong in being yourself? There's only one of you. No one can be like you. Be yourself. As long as you're not harming anyone, as long as you're not saying anything negative to anybody, as long as you're not doing anything untoward towards someone else, be yourself. Why are we awkward in our own skin?
You're really hitting this home, right? Like my next thing that I wanted to put out was you go on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the social media platforms, and you see people, they're smiling, they're happy, and they're showing affection towards each other. Nobody puts up angry photos. Have you seen people, standing in a group photo and they have a grumpy face or something? Why? Why put all this out there when I have spoken to young individuals, when I spoke to seniors, and I talked to them about their daily life battles? It's nothing reflective of those photos. When I say impressing people, trying to impress people, trying to put up a positive outlook when it doesn't exist, because you're not really searching within to correct whatever needs to be corrected, is the reason why I'm putting that out there, is that you go on social media and put all these photos up, and really there's so much conflicts in marriage and relationships, in your current environment. Why do people do that?
Because that's what gets the views. That's what makes people it gives people who are posting that validation.
But what do you need the validation for if you're not happy?
The validation, that's a big question. And that's what really bothers me. Why does one need to have validation for their own actions? Why does someone need validation for what they do? Why can't you be satisfied in your own ecosystem?
Right.
That really concerns me. I would really like to see someone talk about their struggles and how they tried to overcome them.
Yes.
And how, like many struggles, when you try to overcome them, you fail.
Yes.
You try again.
Right.
You fail again.
Right.
You take another way of trying to solve your problem.
Right.
It works a little bit.
Right.
But again, you come back to ground zero.
Yes.
Because those are not fun stories. They're not sexy.
Right.
They're not the ones which says, bang, look at what I did.
Yes.
However, those are the stories that if people begin to listen to,
yes,
and they understand the struggles, they will understand that we are in this together. I'm not the only person who struggles. That person, that successful person also struggles. And we fail to understand that. We fail to see that. Many people, I don't watch basketball.
Right.
But I have been told that there's been many great players. And one of them, the greatest of all time, so I've heard, is Michael Jordan.
Yes, sir.
And Michael Jordan said that, you know what? All I did was I practiced. And no, I never got every basket, but I tried enough that the ones that I got in, they took me to the level I was.
They're all worthwhile.
Right?
Yes.
So you've got to put in the effort. Listen, no one likes to struggle.
Yes.
Everybody wants to get to that pinnacle, that end, that glorious outcome. But the outcome is only glorious if you're willing to put in all the grit and all the effort and not give up.
Yes.
Success comes to those who try again, and keep on trying. That's what you got to do. That's what life is about.
So for me, from what I take from what you're saying is acceptance. I think that you got to accept who you are. That's the first happiness. So if there's issues, or if there's problems, and if there's underlying problems that you have within yourself, I think that needs to be corrected first, and then you attain greatness. Then you work towards happiness. By masking it and putting up these photos and showing that you're happy or trying to please others, you're really not doing justice to yourself.
Absolutely. And Vrind, to be very clear,
yes,
I'm fairly sure that a lot of individuals who are going to listen to this podcast are motivated, and they do want to listen to stories about struggle, and they do want to hear about what we say. But unfortunately, there may be some individuals who need medical attention for the condition that they're in.
Right.
This is obviously motivational, but it's not a substitute for medical advice and medical intervention.
101%.
Right?
Like this is more connecting with individuals one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than again, this is a more
an overarching view. And whether you find that energy in looking at other people and seeing, you know what, they struggle, and you know, this is just how the journey is, whether you find it through spirituality, whether you find it in nature, but you've got to first of all make yourself strong.
Yes.
Be confident in who you are.
Yes.
Whatever you are.
Yes.
And no one is perfect. Recognize that.
Yes.
No one is perfect.
Yes.
And you've been placed on this earth as you.
Yes.
And only you will live your life.
Yes.
And only you will experience your experience.
Yes.
So learn to accept that.
Yes.
And learn to appreciate that.
Yes. And you're unique to who you are.
Absolutely.
And once you begin to accept that, then the need to please others, the need to make everyone else happy will go away. Like, I'm going to give you a quick story. Like, I was always a people pleaser. That's where this came up. Like,
Okay.
Growing up, I was like, everybody need to be happy in the room. But what that did was, and again, it's not reflective thought of me, but what that always did was I was generally a happy person, but trying to make everybody else in the room, a lot of the times I overlooked my own happiness. I didn't know that when I was younger, but when I mean overlook my own happiness, sometimes I like to be alone, watch TV on my own, watch movies on my own, go out on my own, sit alone and have a meal in a restaurant on my own. But I always felt like, what is Dr. Sabharwal going to show up to your house to help you with something and I always overlooked that happiness. And my happiness was me sitting alone, giving myself 20 minutes to meditate. I overlooked that happiness. And as I'm getting older, I've come to realize that. So I want to help people. I want to help uplift people, but never want to, and this is, this is in a selfless prospect. I'm saying this, not in a selfish at all, but I want to help and uplift people, but I don't want to do things just to make people happy. Where they're not even happy, I'm subjecting or trying to portray that happiness. Right?
The fact that you want to spend some time with yourself and have an internal dialogue or just to do nothing.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
And don't forget, you can never change someone's mood, but your energy,
Yes.
your energy levels can permeate to others.
Right.
If you go into a room where people are not very happy or miserable, and you can feel that mood there.
100%. Energies are real.
Energies are real. But if you have positive energy,
Yes.
a positive vibe, and a positive outset
On everything.
and it's tough. Not impossible, but very tough. You too, your positivity,
Yes.
it will radiate to others.
Yes.
May not happen immediately.
Yes.
But it will happen. Have you noticed that whenever you go to a party, an
Yes.
event, or even walk into a room with many people, you can feel and you can identify the individual with the positivity, with the good energy.
Yeah, of course. The room is radiant. The energy is just, it's like I'm losing my chain of thought here, but that energy is contagious.
Contagious.
Is the word. So the energy is contagious. You can see them just multiplying from 1, 2, 4, 8. And I think that's the beauty of somebody who's not trying to please people, but is just there for themselves and they're talking and connecting and uplifting.
There for themselves or there with a purpose.
Yes.
With a purpose of positivity. With
Yes.
a purpose of hope.
Yes.
With a purpose of making things better.
Yes.
And I want to be very clear. It may not be the same thought process that others have.
Yes.
It could even be a policy.
Yes.
I have my end goal is I want to make this good, but this is my policy. But if you have the belief in it, if you have the positivity in it,
Right.
people may not agree, but they will like your positivity.
Yes.
And it will allow dialogue and you will change something to some effect.
Right. And I think, you're the conversation being led in the right direction. I personally think the same thing, that if you're in a room and it's like fearless energy. When you have positive energy, when you're walking into a room, the confidence radiates off you. The purpose radiates off you. That self-belonging radiates off you. And I think people attract naturally, it's like a magnet.
Yeah.
People, you naturally get pulled in, like, whoa, man, like what's really going on? And I think that's the true way, for me, I would think, at least is my personal opinion, to making people happy. Because you're so genuine. You're not there, here, can I, like, you want to help people because it's there genuinely.
Yeah.
You're not there to please people.
Yes.
And I think that's what, it really gets to me when you're just trying to please people to create a vibe in the room. Be the vibe in the room naturally.
And if you do that, then you'll automatically be able to make other people happy.
That's it.
Right? By being yourself.
Yes.
But it starts by being happy yourself and
That-
being yourself and being positive about yourself and being self-aware of yourself. Not every day is a happy day.
101%.
There's a lot of, and the
Your
truth,
life is full of ups and downs.
ups and downs. And unfortunately, there's more downs than there are ups. But that doesn't mean that you let situations dictate your mindset,
Right.
right?
So then, well, you know what? Like I lead this here. I lead this here. Sorry, is if you had to give a leaving thought to individuals that constantly just try to please and make everyone happy in a room or in relationships, jobs, any environment, what would your word of advice be to them?
My word of advice in such a circumstance to that individual who is trying desperately hard to make others happy is to start with the fundamental fact that you cannot make anyone happy until you don't know who you are, until you're not aware of yourself, until you're not confident about yourself, and until you don't understand that you can only control one entity and one entity only, yourself.
Wow, well said. So yeah, with that, Dr. Sabharwal, I'm going to take a leave.
Thank you, Vrind.
Thank you so much. This is our third podcast.
That was a curveball today.
Yeah, no, I felt I want to do something out of the norm. Because we got these set line topics that we go over, and we have free discussions on them. But I want people to watch this and be influenced and uplifted.
Absolutely.
And I want to bring positive. I want to help bring positive change in people's lives with guidance from you on the podcast.
Absolutely. And pretty soon, I believe we're going to be bringing some other guests.
Of course, we got some guests lined up. In the coming weeks, people will be seeing some other guests sit on the panel.
I look forward to it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And take off here with Dr. V&V.